Let's take you back to 1884 in the Kingdom of Buganda, and on the throne sits a teenager, Kabaka Mwanga II. At just 16 years old, he wasn't your typical king. No, Mwanga was the kind of ruler who believed in making an impression. But was it the right one? Well, let's just say his story is equal parts drama, tragedy, and more than a little comedy. Mwanga inherited a kingdom at the crossroads of tradition and modernity. Buganda was a buzzing cultural hub, but it was also a chessboard for colonial powers. The British, Germans, and Arab traders were circling like vultures, while Christian missionaries and Muslim converts were shaking up the local beliefs. And poor Mwanga, he was caught in the middle, armed with a crown, a whole lot of suspicion, and, let's be honest, some questionable decision-making skills. Let's talk about those missionaries. Mwanga didn't trust them at all. He thought they were undermining his authority, and to be fair, they kind of were. People were converting left and right, choosing faith over loyalty to the Kabaka. Imagine being the king, only to find out your subjects are sneaking off to Bible study instead of royal meetings. That's enough to make anyone paranoid. Things came to a head in 1886 with the execution of the Uganda martyrs, over 20 young men who refused to renounce their Christian faith. Mwanga saw their defiance as a direct threat. Harsh, yes, but in his mind, he was fighting for the survival of his kingdom. The rest of the world, of course, saw it differently. It made Mwanga infamous, and not in the good way. And then, the colonial powers showed up in full force. The British and their allies started meddling, as they always did. Mwanga, meanwhile, was having a tough time keeping control. His chiefs were splitting into factions: Christians, Muslims, and traditionalists, all pulling in different directions. It was like a Game of Thrones episode, but with way more at stake. Mwanga's reign became a roller coaster. He was ousted in 1888, made a comeback, got ousted again, then led a full-blown rebellion in 1897. And let me tell you, he wasn't messing around, and Mwanga was determined to kick the British out, but, well, let's just say the odds weren't exactly in his favor. He was captured, deposed for good, and exiled to Seychelles. Seychelles, by the way, is gorgeous, but not when you're there as a prisoner. Mwanga died in exile in 1903, but his story didn't end there. His legacy is a wild mix of heroism and controversy. He's remembered as a king who tried, sometimes too hard, to protect his throne in a time of unimaginable change. Was he a villain, a tragic hero, or just a young man trying to hold it all together in a world that was crumbling around him? In the end, Kabaka Mwanga reminds us of the messy, complicated nature of history. He made mistakes, sure, but he also stood firm in the face of a tidal wave of change. So the next time someone tells you history is boring, just tell them about Mwanga II, the teenage king who took on the world and left behind a story no one will ever forget. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into history, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories from the past that shaped our world today.